Hey, one of the great Bible thrusts are these mission-critical words of Jesus, again, spoken almost 2,000 years ago. Right before he ascends back up into heaven, Jesus says, I want you to be going and making disciples of all peoples, of all nations, baptizing them in the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit, what you saw happen this morning, teaching them to observe all that I have commanded you, and behold, I'm with you always to the very end of the age. Ever since Jesus spoke those mission-critical words, they have been put into effect over and over again. That's why all of us that are in this room this morning are in this room. That's why everyone that's in any kind of church around our valley, around our state, our nation, in the world, that's why they're there, because of these words that Jesus speaks. So again, ever since Jesus spoke those mission-critical words, God's kingdom has ever been expanding. As we say around here at New Hope all the time, God's kingdom is ever warmly expanding in us, then through us, all around us, and way beyond us, because that's who this God is. So this morning we have a special guest from Thailand. Her nickname is Dang, and I met her on my first trip to Thailand 20 years ago. But her given name is Oratai Tawisan. Oratai Tawisan. So she has been connected with this ministry called QWEFT, Concordia Welfare and Education Foundation, Thailand, and since it was registered almost 30 years ago, in the month of October, on October 13th in 1988. She was there when the paperwork was signed, and then this was the start of what you're going to hear about, Concordia Daycare Center. The start was very small, hoping to serve families with little children in a little-known slum area of Bangkok. And so she is still here in 2017 with QWEFT, now reaching more than 20,000 individuals in 6 provinces through 4 different major project initiatives. And you'll be hearing about some of those, including that original daycare, which now has served over these 30 years thousands in that same Bangkok slum community. And now she's also, the ministry is serving in reaching the 3rd generation of some of those families, giving them hope and a real chance for a better life. So Dang continues to provide outstanding leadership as QWEFT enters its 3rd decade of serving some of the most vulnerable in Thailand. Again, one of the things we keep saying around here at New Hope is behind every set of eyes you look into, there's a soul that matters to God. All of our eyes, there's a soul that matters to God. When we look in the mirror, when we look into the eyes of the people that we're next to, there's a soul that matters to God. You get to see pictures of children and adults that serve them. And when you look into their eyes through these pictures, every one of them has a soul that matters to God, and God's trying to reach them. So, with that in mind, will you please give Miss Oratai Tawisan a warm New Hope welcome. Go ahead, have a seat.
Thank you.
All right, the next slide gives us just a little background of QWEFT. So it was established to meet the needs of underprivileged children, families, and communities throughout Thailand. And their statement, we believe education to be the path out of poverty and a gateway to opportunities for a better life. And so you're going to hear throughout this presentation that approach, trying to provide education to provide a better way of life. So we're going to talk about the daycare ministry first and give you a picture of, the Concordia Daycare and Community Center. It's in Bangkok, central Thailand. It's the flagship project established in 1988. Over all these 30 years, serving 2,500 individuals in this what's called the Bang Na slum. They have this, what we call comprehensive program. There's a daycare program, school break activities. So when they have school vacations, the parents still have to work, no amount of money to provide care, and so the center helps with that. They have Saturday classes for elementary and even high school ages, and then they try to provide some medical care and support for some of the elderly that you'll hear about in a moment. So the next picture is a picture of where these children live. It's called a slum area. So, Dang, how many children are currently being cared for at the ministry?
If to the daycare, we have about 25 kids, but we have us after-school program and Saturday classes and school break. So weekly, we are care about 110 kids in our program.
Wanted to ask so that they know that, what are the hours of operation for the daycare?
As we are in the capitals of Bangkok, a lot of traffic, so we are serving from 6:30 to 6 p.m. in the evenings.
And so the children that are there during the day before the after school hour, what are the ages of the children during the day?
About 1.5-year-old to 5-year-olds.
And then how many staff workers are there to provide care for the children?
We have 4 staff, 2 teachers, and 1 cookers and 1 cleaners.
Okay. And then also tell us a little bit, we'll see a picture of her in a little bit, but what is the lady named La? What's her role there?
La is one of my co-workers. She was training to be a deaconess, and now she complete the program with Lisa in Thailand now. She served as a Christian education teacher that every day she come to the daycare, she will teach kids to learn about love of Christ and salvation and creations from God.
So the parents of these children, what are some of the jobs and how much do they get paid like during a normal work day or what we'd call a normal work day?
The wage for those people, because they're uneducated, so they get about $6 to $9 per day.
That's not too many cups of Starbucks coffee, is it? How many days a week do they end up working?
To be survivor and be able to feed the children and their family, they have to work every day.
Yeah. And are any of them able to pay for daycare help? And if so, how much are they able to pay?
Usually we charge about 10 baht or 20 baht, it's about 30 cents. For some cases that not be able to because they have more than 1 children to come our program, so we give some scholarship to helping them so they can come to the daycare for free.
Okay. So some of the children come after school. Again, Thailand provides public education for all children and stuff. So when they come after school for the daycare from about 3:30 to 6 o'clock, what kind of care and help do they receive during those hours?
We feed them for the dinners and help them with the homeworks.
There's homework in Thailand schools, just as there's homework here. So the next picture is an elderly lady in the slum area. Would you tell her her name and the kind of the story of what is in this picture?
Her name is Panoi. Her husband and her children was died in a car accident. So make her stuck in that community. This is opportunity for the daycare be able to helping her to provide some help, give a sack of rice, washings, shampoo, and other kinds so she can continue to survive. And then sometime we are some volunteer people share resources with us, so we share with her so she can run the shops, sell things there, earn some living, bring some clothes to her. Also, we bring a children to visit her and Christian pastor and family to visit her so we can pray with her, encourage her, and teach our children how to learn to give to other people.
So again, just make sure you understand this picture. Those are poor children from the daycare, and she brings them along to give gifts to this elderly lady so that even as poor children, they learn how to give Christian help to others. So, just this kind of an amazing ministry. The next number of slides, we're going to kind of go through a little bit. So it gives you some pictures of the playground equipment, a little bit different from some of that's the Concordia hut. There's some of their little toys that they get to play with during the day. A lot of smiles in Thailand. Again, just to bring to your attention, there's a soul that matters behind both of those sets of eyes and the eyes of the other little children. Lots of coloring, just like our children enjoy. Lots of coloring in that. Next picture shows, again, some of the playground equipment. Tell us about the little boy there and
the boy number 13 on their hands. His name is Earth. His mother was raped by a stranger in the park and delivery. So his auntie helped to raise him. but he born with a heart problem, so he went through surgery for a couple years ago. Now he in our program. When he came to our center, he was quiet, sit around the corner, never associate with friend at all. But after he be able to got health, spend some time with teacher, and trust with the love that we try to share at the center, he get better and improvement. We hope someday he be ready to go to school.
Okay. And next picture shows you some of the activities with the children. La, as we mentioned before, she's on the right-hand side there. Wonderful lady, wonderful servant of God. The next picture shows you some, again, more coloring work and the smiles, again, behind those eyes. This picture here, talk a little bit about that. Again, you see Jesus on their fish.
Yeah.
So.
The daycare not only try to provide a safe area for the kid to play only, or good nutrition food that we have to. We like to show and teach the kid about the love of Jesus. So every day when they come to the center, every child we hears and learns about Jesus Christ love there. Yeah. And one of the boy there who are wearing in the back shirt there, Pao Pao, born with the cancer. Mother was poor already, have to go through the treatment from this child. It's not easy for her at all. She ended up to be remarried for 3 times, tried to find a key leader to help her in her family. But enough she failed. He got CWEFT, Quap Thailand, be able to hook them with the children's hospitals. And he got some treatment. He get better. And now he be able to come to the daycare daily. And we hope that the light that he still continue, he will hear the good news about Jesus love him. It's matter doesn't he have a cancer or born in the poor in poverty. It's matter in the eye of God that God love him and he values in this.
Then the next picture is them doing some more artwork and notice the smiles behind the eyes. The next picture, it's a group picture. Wonderful group of children, always well behaved, just like all of our children are here. So never provide any challenges to the workers there, but they're full of life. So tell us about this picture. What's happening here? So this is, we're going to move into some pictures of the Saturday classes.
Yeah, this is one of the Saturday classes. We have about 20 to 25 weekly that kids who are from our program and go to the primary school now, they go further education. But their parents with limited education cannot help them with their study. So we try to offer a class for English, Thai, and Math to review their lessons. And then learning at the daycare from 8 o'clock to 1 o'clock on Saturday. And now the book that they are learning is about Jesus, Bible picture.
Next picture shows them working on some math, just a whiteboard and a marker like we use here. Again, learning some literature and some handwriting skills. Same kind of thing. And again, they're learning some English. You're going to see on these next pictures. This is Dang teaching Bible study with the children on a Saturday. And the next picture, there you go. They're learning the months of the year. So they obviously the Thai language has different names for the months, so they're learning the English months. Same kind of thing on the next picture, and learning their skills, again, artwork and learning all kind of put together. The next picture, here's an art project, a little paper mache that they're doing. So creativity is a great thing. There's another October. Great to have that picture here in October. Then we're going to switch now to what is called hostel ministries. Not hostel, but hostel. Yeah, I'm sure I said that right. Outreach and education. So what this means is that children come and stay in like a dormitory setting. These are kindergarten students through high school age students. They come and they live because their parents are in mountain villages. So even though Thailand provides public education to all children that can enroll in their schools, they don't provide it up in the mountain communities. So the children, if they want more education, again, that was a value, mission of QEFT is to provide education. So this is in the Chiang Mai. Most of the time when I'm over there, I'm in the Chiang Mai area and somewhat in the Chiang Rai. And so they're serving about 5,000 individuals in 3 communities. The student centers provide food, shelter, and housing for, again, what's ethnic minorities with no other access to school. And they're trying to work closely with the families and the communities. So the next slide shows one of the groupings. So what's the hill tribe that's represented here? And maybe name some of the hill tribes while we're doing this.
This is the project for helping Lahu and Akar children. They in their area with no school, so we try to pull them to the city and help them to be able to go to school every day. So this is the center that pastor will give up his own home to feed, to shelter them, and allow them to be able to school every day. And pastor was this couple. Was a family who get paid.
Mm-hmm.
It's about
Go ahead.
$200
A month.
a month.
He's a pastor and the pastor's wife. $200 a month. I don't work that cheap. Sorry. I wish I could. Maybe you can send me to Thailand full time. I'll see what I can do. How many children are being served here?
In this center, we have about 30 kids in our program, and those older kids who are in our program always try to helping the younger. They are helped to cook, to clean, and then the younger will be around, try to be helpful by sweep and other kinds also.
And the next picture shows another hostel dormitory kind of home. Again, another pastor and his wife. How many children are being served? And
this center is called Manapon Student Center. This was Pastor Apichai, who are from Burma, and got trained to be a pastors and serve in Thailand now. We have about 20 kids in this program.
Also, I want you to notice the uniforms. So the other picture had some school uniforms. This is school uniforms. The Thai government asked everybody to wear some kind of a uniform depending on the location that you live in. And sometimes the children aren't able to go to public school because their parents can't afford a uniform, even though that uniform would cost maybe $10. And again, the uniforms get passed on to the smaller children until they wear out. So, but that's one of the things. And then, so the hill tribes that are served. So I used to a lot of my work that I used to do when I first started going over in the early 2000s with some Hmong. Many of us are familiar with the Hmong people in our area. So there were some Hmong Lutheran pastors American Lutheran pastors that we went and traveled with and worked with the Hmong. There's some Korean, that's what I'm working with a lot now. Our friends Brian and Nitapet Hintz. Nitapet is from the Korean that came out of Burma. And then you were talking about the Lahu. And Aka.
Miens.
Min.
Yeah. And Koreans, yeah.
Yep. So again, these hill tribes, they don't want to be in population centers. They try to keep their own culture and their own values, and so they're up in different mountain areas where they just kind of do agriculture, but they want better lives for their children, and so they send them to these schools. Again, when I got back from Thailand in January, I shared with some of you that our Nitapet Hintz used to go and live in one of these hostels when she was a little girl to get education and that. So then our next picture here, what's going on in this picture?
Usually our students will come to our center. During the day, they will go to the public school and be able to continue their education. But every day when they come home, after we feed them, cooking together, we have everyday Bible study and devotion together so they can learn about Christ.
And you're telling us, please share with. So all the children that get involved with these programs and hear about Jesus, sing songs of Jesus, memorize Bible passages, pray, all that. So what happens to their hearts as they?
These kids will stay with us 3 to 5 years, so allow us to be able to teach them, and 100% of this program, kids were converted, enjoy the family of Christ.
Yeah, so they start following Jesus again. They sing Jesus into their hearts, memorize God's word into their hearts, pray God's word into their hearts, help one another, and they start following Jesus. So it's a great kingdom expanding ministry. The next picture here is going to show you some Christmas outreach. And again, you notice the young lady that's got a Santa hat on. So tell us about how this happens. What happens with what we call Christmas outreach?
After they learn about Christ quite a bit, so they are celebrate the Christmas now at their center. But every time we have Christmas, we not just celebrate among of us. We invite the neighbor, children from their school, to be join this event, and they can hear the good news also about Christmas. And occasionally, Christmas time, some of the center, we send these children to visit their hometown, to their own community, and share the good news about Christmas to their parents and some of their neighbors.
So again, they tell the Christmas story, act out, Mary and Joseph traveling to Bethlehem, having baby Jesus. And so again, even though Thailand's like a 99% Buddhist country, they still are celebrating Christmas, following our kind of American influence. So there's all kinds of lights, all kinds of artificial Christmas trees. So even when I usually travel over to Thailand at the end of January, lots of Christmas decorations up. So they're still hearing about Jesus, even though they're still following Buddha or Buddhism. So again, but some of these children are following Jesus because of the stories of Jesus. We're going to switch to the last thing here, and that is to the community development. Again, happens in northern, central, and southern Thailand. Over the years, they've been serving in 1 year, serving 14,000 individuals in 9 communities. They assist at-risk communities with health trainings, eyeglass clinics, clean water projects, safe housing, children's literacy program, and supplemental educational opportunities. The next picture is going to show you a good friend of mine. That's Pastor Pung Sok, and I first met him in the early 2000s with our Hmong people. He lives in a Hmong village. I've actually stayed in his house. The one time I was sick, was staying in his house. I had kind of some stomach issues and that. Pastor Pung Sok was one of the great students to work with because he was already a leader, had kind of started becoming a man of faith, and so I got to teach him simple Bible truths, the Apostles' Creed, the Lord's Prayer, some of the stories of Jesus, some of the stories of the Old Testament from Abraham on, just that whole thing, and was just a wonderful student. We used to have Bibles, have an English Bible, a Thai Bible, a Hmong Bible, and translation back and forth. And again, he's still a wonderful pastor serving the community. The lady is Mary Karkin, one of the volunteers that comes over and doing a health screening in his community, and then he allows the other people in the village, and they invite other people from other villages to do that. The next picture is going to show you, here's his church and some of the artwork that they were doing. The next picture, tell us about this picture.
After they planned a church there, so Quep worked alongside with those by working with the local leaders. So we think that they by themselves will be tough. So Quep will be provide a tool, some training, and some children outreach with the pastor. So this is one of the Christmas outreach that we work with the pastors to outreach with their own community by provide some resources and then work side by side with them. So that kind of.
So again, this is Pastor Pong Sok's church. They're doing a Christmas outreach. So you see La is on the right-hand side, and then next to a young lady that's in a full Hmong kind kind of holiday costume. All the different tribes, different hill tribes and that, have these very, very elaborate things, all handmade. I've watched them do some of this weaving together, and it's pretty amazing. Lots of decorations, lots of color in that. And then this next picture is, what are you doing in this picture?
Besides just working at the office, I travel to in the north of Thailand every quarter to do a community outreach education. This is hygiene training. The Hill tribe people usually they don't know how to touch their bashmat at all. So I working with the early center, childhood center there, and try to teach the kids to know about the basic hygiene, touch their bath and that kind of thing, and then provide some of the material for them also, so they can carry on touch their own bath daily.
So if any of your preschool children haven't got the toothbrush thing down yet, maybe you can see Dang afterwards for a lesson. You can have your kids work with here. All right, now we're going to wrap up with a summary. So here's the individuals served over this last calendar year. Through the daycare and community center, about 2,000, over 2,000 people. The hostel outreach, 5,000 people. Community development, 13,000 going into these communities, having all the villagers come in. So 21,000 people served, everyone with a soul that matters to God behind their eyes. And from the calendar year before, 4,681 more than the year before. So again, just doing amazing work with touches of Jesus, touches of Jesus, touches of Jesus. And I think the last slide is just a thank you slide for listening to the stories of Thailand this morning. So I've asked Dang to pray for the ministry over there and our ministry here. And I've asked her if she would please to say a prayer in Thai, because God doesn't need a translator. He hears and understands what she prays. But since we won't understand what she prays in Thai, I asked her also then to pray it back in English. So if you would, let's allow Dang to pray over us. Okay.
Please join prayer in Thai together. ข้าแต่พระบิดาเจ้าขอบคุณพระองค์เจ้าสำหรับความรักอันยิ่งใหญ่ของพระองค์เจ้าที่มีต่อเราทั้งหลายขอบคุณพระองค์เจ้าสำหรับครอบครัวของพระองค์ท่ามกลางที่นี่ที่อเมริกาและในประเทศไทยทำให้เราสามารถที่จะประกาศข่าวประเสริฐของพระเจ้าแล้วก็ทำงานร่วมกันขอบคุณพระเจ้าขอพระเจ้าอยู่กับคริสตจักรแห่งนี้ประทานจิตใจของเขาในการที่รักในการประกาศข่าวประเสริฐของพระองค์อธิษฐานทูลขอสิ่งสารพัดเหล่านี้ในพระนามพระเยซูคริสต์เจ้าอาเมน Heavenly Father, thank you for sister and brother in Christ in America at New Hope. Thank you for relationship have been built and partnership that will grow so we can join hand and serve the Lord in America and in Thailand together. Blessing among of those people, Lord, that in Thailand that we are serving with, open their heart and mind so they may follow you at your savors. Pray all this in Jesus' name. Amen.